Aita for getting the man who sexually harassed me fired right before Christmas. A little over 2 weeks ago, my family and I went away for Thanksgiving weekend. A few days after the holiday, I was walking my service dog early one morning. One of the groundskeepers followed me up a hill and used his van to block my path. We were basically in the middle of the woods, with no one else around. He started asking questions about my service animal, and I answered briefly. Then he began trying to distract her, touching and calling to her. I politely asked him to stop and explained that she was working. He made it very clear that he was not going to stop. Then he asked me where I was staying. I told him I would not tell him that. He was a complete stranger. That's when he started asking me sexually inappropriate questions. I repeatedly yelled, "Leave me alone," as loud as I possibly could. I was trying to figure out how to get away while feeling completely unsafe. He told me he was going to sit there and wait to see which house I went into, and he did exactly that. I managed to speed walk around the back of his car and get away. I went in the opposite direction of where I actually needed to go. For about 15 minutes, my service dog and I waited outside. We didn't move until someone else came outside. Only then were we able to safely get inside the house. Once I finally calmed down, I reported what had happened. I was later informed that he had been let go from his job. Recently, I told a cousin about the outcome of the report. She exploded, saying I was horrible for getting him fired before Christmas. She said, "It's not like he actually touched you. I know in my heart that reporting him was the right thing to do. I wasn't trying to get him fired, but no one should ever be allowed to treat someone that way." Still, her words keep echoing in my head.
Ida for getting the man who sexually harassed me fired right before Christmas. Things like access control systems and CCTV. The chair in my cubicle was uncomfortable as hell. So on day 3, I brought in my own chair, a Herman Miller Aaron chair. On day 4, it was gone. I looked around and saw another sales rep sitting in it. I asked for my chair back. He basically told me to F off. So I went and spoke to the owner of the company. He told me chairs weren't reserved. First come, first serve. I explained that I own that chair and that it cost me $1,800. He told me I needed to come in earlier if I wanted it. The next day, the same guy was sitting in my chair again. I told him to give it back or I'd call the cops. He refused. So I called the cops. It caused a pretty big scene at the office, but he admitted that he took my chair. My $1,800 chair. I was prepared. I had the receipt. It showed the serial number.
Update. Brother didn't invite me to his wedding. Family kept it a secret. Everyone, thanks for all the advice and thoughts. You're all right. I should have stopped this a long time ago. Being Latina, family is extremely important in our culture. And if you try to distance yourself from their toxicity, you're made to feel guilty, not just in this situation, but many others over the years. For those wondering, our ages span about 25 years. I'm the second youngest. The youngest sibling, Sister L, was also not invited or told. Most issues with my older siblings come from age gaps and different views. I believe the others were told not to mention the wedding. So I understand they were in a tough position. But we were in a good place recently, so this blindsided me. If someone had warned me, I would have appreciated the honesty. I'd still be hurt, but I would have respected his choice. What hurt most was finding out on social media afterward. Knowing everyone knew and kept it from me, especially after spending time together days before. As of today, almost 3 weeks later, I've heard nothing from my brothers. I did respond to my sisters and shared how I felt. Sister A said, "I'm sorry you feel that way." I didn't respond because I knew it wouldn't go anywhere. Sister B acknowledged it was wrong and apologized. I accepted her apology, but I don't fully trust her anymore. So I decided to go no contact with all of them. I blocked them on social media and phone. I also canceled the Secret Santa event. Maybe one day I'll go low contact with Sister B, but I need time and space before deciding. My family has been my biggest source of stress and anxiety. I've been in therapy on and off for years. I highly recommend it to anyone dealing with this. Booking a session feels like a Christmas gift to myself. I've gone through the 5 stages of grief. Not just grieving my parents, but the family we used to be. They were the glue that held us together. This is me finally accepting what we've become. Outside of my family, the last few years have been the happiest, My husband's family treats me like their own. They truly care about my well-being. I'm focusing on them, Sister L, and the family I'm creating. Hopefully, it'll be better than the one I was born into. AITAH4, not adding the affair partner's birthday as a custody swap day. I'm 27 and I have 2 kids, ages 4 and 3. Their mother is my ex-wife. She cheated on me and is now married to her affair partner. He's 35. In our custody agreement, birthdays are custody swap days. If I have the kids on her birthday, she gets them. If she has them on my birthday, I get them. The same applies to Mother's Day, Father's Day, and close family weddings or funerals. Otherwise, we split custody 7 days on, 7 days off. Any other swap days are optional and not court-ordered. That includes future kids, step-parents, or step-relative events. Now my ex and her affair partner want HIS birthday added. They say it's only fair because he'll be their second dad. They argue the kids won't remember life without him. My ex even said I was being petty if I refused. But I did refuse. I told her his birthday is not being added. My mind was made up. The affair partner said, I must be a shitty dad for denying it. I told him, if I'm a shitty dad, then he's a shitty stepdad for helping destroy their family. He was the other person in our marriage. My ex then submitted a formal written request. I formally rejected it again. My attorney documented everything and said I'd be fine. Her attorney asked us to reconsider or face a parental alienation claim. My attorney responded that they should be careful. We have evidence they tried to buy me off. They wanted me to leave my kids' lives so he could adopt them. After that, everything went silent. But during a recent exchange, my ex brought it up again. She called me a selfish sob, all because I won't add her affair partner's birthday. So, am I the asshole? Aida, for wanting to know how much money my husband makes. My husband and I just got married this year after 9 years together. From the beginning, he was very private about his finances. He owns a business, and I'd never pushed her pride. Over time, our roles shifted. I work part-time, and he pays all the bills. I'm extremely grateful and try to show appreciation. I handle household duties and pay for groceries about half the time. This arrangement has worked without issues, but he has never told me how much money he makes. I know there's no debt, for reasons I can't explain here. Over the years, I've interviewed 4 full-time jobs. I once received a 6-figure offer. I almost accepted until he made comments that made me feel guilty. He said we couldn't travel the same way anymore, that I'd miss out on the life we share. He also bought our new house without telling me. He said it was a surprise. I liked the house, but I wasn't included in the decision. Now that we're married, I want full transparency. We plan to have children. I want to know what our real budget looks like. Private school, nanny, childcare. I pay most of my personal expenses myself. If I have a child, I'll work much less. When I asked, he told me to check the bills instead. So I made a spreadsheet of expenses and due dates. I worked with whatever information I could find. He still refuses to tell me his income or show me bank statements or accounts. He says I should assume from our lifestyle, our house is worth 7 figures. Our cars are 6 figures. I told him that wasn't enough for me. If I'm having a child and becoming dependent, I need clarity. He said it doesn't matter because I'm taken care of. He also said he worries I'll tell people, which has never been an issue before. I never planned to give up being career-oriented. But this relationship changed that. I'm grateful for the life he provides. I just don't want to go into parenthood blind. So, am I the asshole for wanting to know?
Ida for quitting a date on the spot. I'm 32 and this was my first date with a 27-year-old woman. We went to a patio-style restaurant for dinner. At first, everything was going well. One thing I noticed was that she put her phone on the table immediately. I didn't love it, but she wasn't checking it, so I ignored it. Then our drinks and appetizers arrived. I moved her phone slightly to give the waitress some space. That's when I saw the recording app was running. I froze, then reacted in shock. I asked why the hell she was recording the date. I stood up, paid the bill, and left immediately. Now she's calling me an asshole and abusive on social media. She says I abandoned her when I had agreed to give her a ride home. She also says I was rude for raising my voice and swearing. And yes, I did raise my voice and swear. But finding out I was being recorded shocked me. It felt like a natural reaction in the moment. For context, this happened in the greater LA area. I know California is a two-party consent state, but as a brown Latino immigrant, I didn't want police involved. Especially not these days. So, am I the asshole?
Is sex important in a relationship? Here is what experts say: the importance of sex in relationships. Is sex important in a relationship? It almost sounds like a trick question. Sure, romance is one of the main qualities in successful relationships. And a part of that includes quality sex. But how big a role sex plays in your love life depends on you and your partner. What we seem to know is that basically when sex is going well, which means you're having it consistently, and not having any major problems, then it really only accounts for about 15 to 20% of relationship satisfaction, says certified sex therapist Lori Mintz, PhD, a professor of psychology at the University of Florida in Gainesville, and author of A Tired Woman's Guide to Passionate Sex. And consistently is not a one-size-fits-all model. It can mean very different things to different relationships. The most important part is that the two people in the relationship are on the same page about sex frequency. When your sex life is off track, though, it can make up for most of your dissatisfaction with your partner, she adds. For example, maybe your partner doesn't want sex when you do. That's not surprising for something that provides enormous benefits to your physical and emotional health, both individually and as a couple. But sex is way more than intercourse, say experts. So if that aspect of lovemaking isn't happening as often as it used to, don't despair. Read on to see why sex can be so important in relationships, and what to do if one or both of you feel you're not getting enough. Defining sex like an expert: when most heterosexual couples think of sex, they're generally thinking about penis and vagina, says Megan Fleming, PhD, a clinical psychologist specializing in sex and relationships in New York City. But the basics of sexuality is giving and receiving pleasure. So sex is anything you and your partner do consensually that involves erotic and sexual touch and pleasure, and for most of us, that involves genital pleasure, Mintz explains. You give each other oral sex, for instance, or pleasure each other with vibrators or with your hands. Redefining sex, so it's broader than intercourse, can be more inclusive of gay and lesbian couples, says Mintz. And it may help you enjoy better sex as you age, too. We know that sometimes, as people age, intercourse is not on the table anymore, due to vaginal dryness, erectile issues, and other medical issues, she says. And so if we start valuing all of the many ways to pleasure ourselves and our partners, we are much more likely to be able to age into our sexuality more gracefully. Focusing on the mutual pleasure that may or may not include intercourse also can help couples get over performance anxiety, which saps away at your relationship, says Fleming. If you're not sure how something's going to go, you'd rather not feel the disappointment or upset, she notes. So some people stop initiating. And that might even look like not hugging and kissing because people don't want to send mixed signals. Now that you can think of sex more inclusively, it's time to see how many perks it brings, both individually and as a couple. Why making love is so good for you: it's good for your physical health. There is a whole host of physical benefits that having sex, specifically orgasms, can bring to you. It may help relieve joint or muscle pain, and can reportedly help with headaches and menstrual cramps in some women. Women who orgasm frequently have a lower risk of developing endometriosis and more regular periods, says Mintz. It's also good for bladder control because when you have sex, your pelvic floor muscles get exercise. It also keeps your heart healthy, even increasing your life expectancy after a heart attack, according to a study published in 2020 in the American Journal of Medicine. Other research in the Journal of Health and Social Behavior found that sex lowers the risk of hypertension in middle-aged and older women. Sex may even be good for your immune system, suggests a small study in the journal Psychological Reports. It's good for your emotional well-being. Your brain changes when you have sex. The way that your brain looks right before orgasm is the same way your brain looks in deep meditation, says Mins. Researchers found that intimacy lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, in men and women, according to research in a 2019 issue of Psychosomatic Medicine. Sex can also be an essential part of feeling alive and vital, of having a zest for life, says Fleming. Another benefit to good sex? It's validating, says New York City sex therapist Stephen Snyder, MD, author of Love Worth Making, How to Have Ridiculously Great Sex in a Long-Lasting Relationship. It makes you feel good about yourself in a way few other experiences can match. It's good for your relationship. Mins calls sex the glue and oil of a relationship. Without it, she says, couples either fall apart or become roommates who share chores, worries, and an occasional laugh. In terms of the oil, sex helps prevent friction and makes you less irritable, she says. I always joke with my clients who I'm trying to help get a better sex life that the things that irritate you about your partner before sex could even be endearing after sex. It can also release all those feel-good hormones, including oxytocin and dopamine, which increases feelings of connection and intimacy, says Fleming. Want to know what else increases those feelings? The little ways these couples make their partner feel loved. Here is what else it can do. It creates trust and shared memories, because you're sharing your deepest self with your partner, says Mins. It can enhance commitment and appreciation. And most interesting, the more sex you have, the more you want, she adds. So good sex is a positive cycle for not only more of those benefits, but for more sex. How much sex do you need to reap these benefits? According to research in the journal Social Psychological and Personality Science, you get all these feelings of emotional well-being and connections when you have sex once a week. More often is fine, you just don't reap more perks. If that amount seems like a lot, given your life right now, remember, it's really up to the couple to decide their ideal frequency, says Mins. When it comes up in her couples therapy, she tells her clients, whatever the two of you work out. I don't care if it's once a week or once a month. But here is the caveat. Both partners have to be satisfied with the amount, which requires communication and compromise, two key characteristics of a healthy relationship. Fleming agrees. If a couple isn't having sex frequently, whether it's once a month or once a year, and they're not distressed by it, then it isn't a problem, she says. It becomes problematic if it's distressing to one and not to the other. Then it becomes a relationship issue. The bottom line, there is no one-size-fits-all sexuality, Mins says. If you have sex that's really fun and orgasmic and connected once a month, you might be happier than the people who are having mediocre sex once a week. How to have a sex life you're both happy with? Many relationships have mismatched desire levels, typically a higher libido partner with a lower libido one, say experts. And while you may think your partner just wants sex, it may be the lack of connection and intimacy that your significant other is really missing, notes Fleming. Here is how to fix that imbalance so that you're both left satisfied. Work it out. Even though your sexual differences can feel like a relationship deal breaker, they're just as negotiable as all the issues you have to compromise on, from whose family to visit over the holidays to how to decorate your new place, says Mins. You listen to each other, you talk to each other non-defensively, you really hear what the other person wants and why it's important to them, she explains. And you reach a conclusion, a unique couple compromise. Sometimes bringing up the topic can be difficult, but not impossible. Mins recommends using I statements, loving statements, and compliments so that your script looks something like this. I have something to talk to you about, and it's really hard for me. I'm bringing this up to connect with you because I really love you. I really care about our relationship. and I'm not feeling as satisfied as I could be with our sex life. You list a couple of reasons why and then say, and I'd really like us to work on that. Making space for these conversations could mean the difference between healthy versus unhealthy relationships. If your partner doesn't want to figure it out with you, then you'll have to think long and hard whether this is a deal breaker, and go into therapy yourself. If you wanted your partner to do something and they said, "No, I don't care to work on this even though it's important to you," how does that feel? Mintz says, it's not just about sex. It's about love and partnership in general. Take intercourse off the table. Most therapists will do a series of exercises that focus on affectionate touching and get increasingly sexual. They're called sensate focus exercises, and the aim is to reintroduce sensuality, sexuality, and non-demand touch, says Mintz. I tell clients, do you remember making out in your parents' driveway? Why was it so erotic? Because you couldn't finish the deed, she explains. But the longer relationships go on, the more often there's no touch, no making out, no teasing. And all of a sudden, you get in bed, and it's like, do you want to? Of course not. You haven't touched me all day, and I'm exhausted. Instead of aiming for, say, weekly sessions that always end in intercourse, focus on what Dr. Snyder calls erotic intimacy, which can include sensual touch. It's a good idea to get excited together sometimes, just for a minute or two, even when you're not going to have sex, because it feels good, he says. Just a minute or two before falling asleep, or before leaving for work, can do a lot to improve the erotic climate of your relationship. Think outside the box. Toss out the idea that monogamy equals monotony. Most couples fall into what we refer to as scripted sex, meaning it's the same positions and same time, says Fleming. I'm all for having our favorites, our vanilla and chocolate ice cream, but I always speak to couples about expanding the repertoire, what I refer to as having the Greek diner menu, Fleming says. So start exploring, she advises. There are just so many ways to give and receive pleasure. We say the biggest sex organ is our mind, but the biggest organ is our skin, head to toe. Get playful while you're getting creative. Think about adding a few props. One nice to have that Fleming suggests to her clients, a massage candle. Once it's lit, it quickly melts down into massage oil. It's the whole idea of adding a little bit of novelty, something new, she says. But a massage candle is also more sensual versus explicitly sexual, which is helpful. You become more mindful about giving each other pleasure. If you need more stimulation for arousal, you can try a vibrator or another type of adult sex toy. Or, suggests Fleming, break out special dice or board games, in which one card or die gives a body part and the other the action. What I like about games is that you're not having to think about what's next, she says. Something external is giving you that guidance or cue, which could be really helpful. Another benefit about toys and games, they give you more permission to explore new things, says Fleming, as long as both of you are honest about telling each other what seems worth trying and feels good and what doesn't. Schedule your lovemaking, set a date and time for these erotic sessions. Here is a hint, you may want to pencil it in during the hours that experts say is the best time to have sex. Culturally, we think that sex is supposed to be spontaneous, and the reality is that even when you were young, it was more about opportunity than the spontaneity, says Fleming. Even if it's tough to find a few minutes in your crazy busy life, it's essential to prioritize a time for pleasure and connection, however the two of you define that, Fleming says. Say yes to one thing. Sometimes your partner initiates sex, and your first response may be to say no, for whatever reason. But it could be a good idea to meet your partner halfway to see if there is one small thing you can say yes to, like a back massage, advises Fleming. That way you can physically connect and, if you do want to increase intimacy, you may actually feel desire kick in. The point is to be open and receptive and see what happens if you want. And then take it from there.
Love or jealousy at first sight? I was 16, young and cold-hearted on the outside, but deep down, like all other teenage girls, even I wished to be loved. It was a Sunday evening, exams were over, so I was desperately waiting to visit my favorite place, a place where I often went in search of peace. The love comics on the wall, the small wooden coffee tables, the cute little bean bags, the soft music, the light-colored walls, the humble staff and the sweet aroma of coffee were the only things I could think about. When I reached, I was astonished to see a horde waiting outside the cafe. My anxiousness made me jump from the bike and interrogate the manager about the situation. Luckily it was nothing but a power cut. I had no choice other than waiting and cursing myself for coming alone. I soon started frisking around. And there I saw a guy arriving on his bike wearing red t-shirt and black tracks, with a gym bag on his shoulders, tall, fair and handsome. I was bewitched by his charm. No sooner did I notice a girl from the crowd calling his name and walking towards him. The smile on his face made it very obvious that it was none other than his girlfriend. Seeing them together made me feel low. Waiting there any longer was next to impossible, so I just drove back home. He was a complete stranger, I knew nothing about him, but then too seeing him with a girl made me feel like I had pit in my stomach. All of a sudden I had lost my appetite and getting sleep was even harder. And there it was, the brain and the heart clash. My brain stopped me as he was with someone, but my heart wanted to talk to him, to get to know him. There were a lot of questions going on inside me, but the question which kept me awake for several nights was it jealousy or love at first sight? End.
Back to start, I never thought in my whole teenage life that I would ever experience that thing, the thing which people at my age call love. I always felt that teenage people can get attracted to a person, but love is big word. I mean, I took it is a four-letter word, but in this cinema and society makes it a big deal. Well, it was not that big. I mean, you never have it love. You feel it. After my school life, I was left with 1 year to find my passion and study for entrance exam. Studying all day made me bored, so I used to go to this park side near my house. I was literally in my last teenage years, so I was willing to explore all new stuff. One day I saw this guy looking at me from far away. I thought maybe he wanted to say something. But he went away. Next day, on my way to park in the morning, I heard the sound of cycle behind me. It was strange because normally people come by foot. So I turned my head and saw this guy with the uniform of some college, I guess with wet hair and a bag on back. I started cycling with my speed and asked me my name, and a kind of formality, he asked this. He actually wanted my physics copy for not, as I heard from some people, that he was preparing and so was he for the entrance exam. Well, when a guy with a cute smile asks you that or wants something, how can you say no? In the evening I gave him my copy and with that my hat. Now every morning was a happy morning for me. I used to see him. For the first time I was so open to a boy who was just my friend. For the next 6 months we met in the road, in parks, in coaching class, but never shared phone number. He was a gentleman. When in winter the morning used to be a little dark, he used to wait for me at the corner to go together. When in our morning class teacher had not opened door to class, we used to wait outside it, log about stuff and knock the door, competing on whose knock will answer listen to and open the door. That is how we spent 6 months, and at the last day of our class we just were sad and said bye. That is all. He thought of asking his number to stay in touch, but the ego came in way and he didn't try to contact me. Or maybe if he had, then he wouldn't be able to because he was not on social media. He thought it was, and Buwhoop knew it was a beginning only. A year later, in my first class of college, I hear a voice from back of row calling me. There was nothing changed but only a few installés. Even now with wet hair and some smile en face. The story has just begun and now I know if it is not love then it also not friendship. Maybe in between somewhere but we can figure that latte and enjoy the present. If you really have feeling for someone just way my friend nature sees it, all good is on its way. As it says, patience girl patience and you will have the whole world. P.S. Now I finally kept my ego acid and asked his number. It is love day say it is sweet, I say let's live it says, END. Live.
Seconds before I was about to step onto the rink with my skating partner and boyfriend Victor, he turned to me nervously. "Are you sure about this?" "Of course! My name is Quinn for a reason, darling." The crowd went wild as we danced flawlessly. Towards the end of the routine, I skated towards Victor, and he threw me in the air. The stadium went silent as I gracefully spun a few times before landing in his arms. The audience erupted as Victor pulled me in for a kiss. As expected, we ate the competition and left no crumbs. "Hi, my name is Quinn, and I was the most popular girl in school and the best figure skater in town. My life was perfect, but then everything changed in the worst way ever. But first, please like and subscribe." Later that night, my best friend Elena arranged a pool party for us at her mansion and invited everyone. You know I hate huge parties, right? "Oh, come on, girl. One more competition and you guys are gonna get into the Olympics. We need to celebrate this. Actually, we need to study for our finals next week. Let's forget about everything and have some real fun tonight, babe." Victor jumped into the pool and Elena followed. And, well, I couldn't resist for too long either. But as I was walking towards the pool, I suddenly slipped on something. I felt my head hit the ground, and everything went black. When I opened my eyes again, I realized that I was in the hospital. Just then, a nurse came in, and she looked shocked to see me awake. She called for the doctor, who came running in and started to examine me. When I asked him what was going on, he dropped a bombshell on me. "You had a serious head injury and fell into a coma for 3 years and 2 months. It's a miracle you're awake, and all your functions seem perfectly normal. But I wouldn't recommend skating for a while." And as he went on, I sat there dazed, letting his words sink in. I'd been in a coma for 3 years? But what about my career? And everyone had left high school? Who was the US president now? I was having a panic attack. My parents were out of town, but the doctor quickly got them on the phone, and they started shrieking in excitement. "Oh my God, you're awake. We're coming home right away, honey. And please, don't meet anyone until we've talked, okay? Love you." But as soon as I got out of the hospital, I asked my driver to take me to Victor's house, and he looked like he'd seen a ghost. "Quinn, is that really you?" "Surprise! Did you miss me?" Of course I missed you. I just can't believe you're here." I threw my arms around his neck and lifted my head for a kiss. But just then, a girl suddenly appeared behind him. "Elena! Bestie! Oh my God, is this for real? I can't believe I've been sleeping for 3 freaking years. I need to know everything." Well, Victor and I had our 3rd sectional win yesterday, and we'll be competing in the nationals soon. I literally buffered for a few seconds. "What the what?" "She replaced you as my partner a year after your accident." "Oh, wow, that's great. Elena's pretty good at skating too." "I know, right? We make a good team. And, one more thing. We're engaged." Nice joke, bestie." But I felt like an elephant had slapped me when they both went silent. "Oh, you're serious? You're not mad at us, right? I mean, it has been 3 years. We didn't know if you'd ever wake up." "Of course, I understand. I'm happy for you." And then I turned and quickly left in my car, feeling like a zombie. But when I got home, I had a complete meltdown. Soon, I learned that aside from skating together and being engaged, Elena and Victor were studying at my dream university too. And it felt more painful than 10 toothaches. I visited the rink where I'd always practiced, but no one seemed to recognize me anymore. Everyone had moved on. While I'd lost 3 years, my career, my best friend, and my boyfriend. When my parents finally arrived, they did everything to cheer me up, but I just felt depressed. I had to start all over again, and I didn't know how. Mom convinced me that the first step was to go back to high school and finished it. But everyone my age had graduated, and being the oldest in class was weird, and it just made me miss Victor more. One day I was at the grocery store when I saw Victor and Elena being interviewed on television. It really hurt to see how happy they looked together. I felt like another meltdown was coming, but just then the cashier caught my attention. He was dancing as he worked. So extra. But when he turned around, I saw that he was really cute. To my surprise, he gave me a knowing smile and winked. I just ignored him and walked away. A few days later, I was studying at a cafe near my school that always played classical music, my favorite. But just then, a guy started playing a loud song on his little speaker, and it sounded so annoying. Suddenly, our eyes met, and I realized that it was the extra cute cashier. He walked up to my table and then started poking my cheek. "Excuse me, what are you doing?" "Sorry, I've been wanting to check if you're real since I saw you at the grocery store. You're just too beautiful for this world. And you're just too cheesy for the whole universe. But at least I made you smile. I'm Derek, by the way. And you?" "Quinn. Nice name, Quinn. Do you need a king?" "Nope. I just need you to shut your noisy music off." Hip-hop music is not noise. It's amazing. "Sure. Whatever makes you happy. It's you, babe." I wanted to roll my eyes, but I ended up smiling instead. After that, Derek always turned up when I was in the cafe, and I enjoyed his company. I learned that he was a working college student who dreamed of becoming a famous hip-hop dancer someday. He was flirty and funny, and a great listener. If your ex really loved you, he would have waited for you. Just forget him. I'm sure I'm more handsome. Maybe, but he definitely dresses better than you. Derek always wore hoodies and jerseys thrice his size. He was the opposite of Victor, who always looked like a prince. Snap out of it, Quinn. He's engaged. One day when I was with Derek, a familiar couple entered the cafe, Victor and Elena. I had to show them that I was doing just fine. As I saw them getting closer, I let out an exaggerated laugh. "Oh, my boo-boo bear. You're so funny. I want to die." What's so funny about my neighbor's cat dying? But I continued laughing as if an octopus was tickling me. "Oh, hey, girl. Oh my god, hi. What brings you two here?" "This guy just can't get enough of me, so he brought me here on a lunch date. I heard you went back to school." "Yeah, life goes on, you know." "Oh, this is my boyfriend Derek. He's a hip-hop dancer." Victor suddenly butt in. "I thought you hated hip-hop." "Not when my boo-boo bear dances to it. He's just the coolest." "You really think so?" Victor looked rather mad. He was jealous, and I was loving it. They sat at a table across from ours, and I jumped onto Derek's lap and started feeding him french fries. Victor kept looking my way, and Elena looked furious. Soon enough, the lovebirds were having an argument, and they both left. "So, I'm your boyfriend now, huh?" "I'm sorry, that came out of nowhere, but I just had to do it. I didn't want to look like a loser in front of them." "I get it. We can continue pretending, to show them. Just be careful, though. You might fall in love with me for real." "Oh, trust me, I won't. You're not my type." And just like that, I got myself a brand new boyfriend. And the chance to take him with me came soon enough when I heard about the next skating competition Elena and Victor were participating in. I had to see how good she was. And I was stunned. Elena skated like a pro, and their chemistry was on fire. To make things worse, Victor kissed her after their performance. Suddenly, I just found myself crying. Derek turned to me, and my heart kind of fluttered as he wiped my tears. "Remember, you're a queen." "You're right. I have to get back on the rink. And this time, I don't need a partner." I wasn't allowed to skate yet, but I started training anyway, and I was too stubborn to listen to my parents or Derek, who tried to stop me. "Even if you're my fake boyfriend, you have to support me." "Okay, fine, but on one condition. I have to be with you whenever you practice. I'll protect you." "That's my coach's job. Do you even know how to skate?" "Oh, baby, I'm the breakdancing king. Skating would be a piece of cake." But when he finally got on his skating shoes, I almost died laughing. He looked like a scared baby and kept falling on his butt. "Relax. Just trust me and don't let go." "I won't." The next minute, he slipped again, but I was quick to grab him. As I pulled him back up, our lips almost touched, which sent my heartbeat racing. But before things could get weirder, my coach arrived, and I felt a bit disappointed. My birthday was in 3 days, and my parents decided to throw a huge party to celebrate. They invited all their rich friends, including Victor and his parents. It was my chance to show off my new boyfriend to everyone, but I knew what these people were like, and I had to make some changes to Derek. "I'll send some stylists over before the party, and one of my cars will pick you up, okay?" "Oh, okay, sure. See you later then." On the evening of the party, everyone had already arrived when a Lamborghini pulled into the driveway, and my jaw dropped when Derek stepped out. He was wearing a white suit and his hair was brushed up. He looked gorgeous. and clearly I wasn't the only one who thought so. I introduced him to my parents, and they looked impressed. Everything was going smoothly, till they started asking about what his parents did for a living. Thankfully, someone walked in just then to distract them, and I saw that it was Victor. Elena wasn't with him, and I wondered why. Oh, it's been a while, sweetheart. You look even more handsome than before. So perfect for my daughter. Is it too late for you guys to get back together? Mom and her rich friends kept on gushing over Victor, which annoyed me so much. How could they do that in front of my boyfriend? They didn't know he was fake, but suddenly, Derek walked up to the grand piano and asked for everyone's attention. I would like to dedicate this song to my amazing girlfriend, Quinn, the queen of my life. He started playing one of my favorite love songs, and my heart just melted. Everyone was mesmerized by his lovely performance, but just as he finished, his phone started ringing, and his ringtone was a hip-hop song with some embarrassing lyrics. It made everyone's eyebrows shoot up with judgment. As Derek panicked to turn it off, he suddenly crashed into the waiter behind him and ended up with food all over him. As I ran to help him, I heard Victor laugh. A few piano tricks and some borrowed clothes can't buy something like class. It's so obvious that he's not one of us, Quinn. Derek glared at him angrily, and I was afraid the two might break into a fight, so I dragged him out of the party and apologized for everyone's behavior. But you think the same, don't you? That's why you groomed me, to make me presentable. Derek, that was a mistake, and I'm sorry. Let's get out of here. But what about your party? I hate huge parties. Take me somewhere else, please. He took me to a club, and everyone was just looking at him as he danced. I totally understood why. Come on, dance with me. I am not into hip-hop, but he pulled me onto the dance floor, and we just went wild. As the song ended, everyone clapped for us, and he drew me close. I'm sorry for ruining your birthday. You actually made it better, and before I knew it, I found myself kissing him, and it felt surreal. I couldn't stop thinking about Derek or that kiss all night, but I really had to focus on my skating because I'd entered my name into the next big competition. I had to work hard to get my momentum back and to learn how to dance without a partner. One day while I was practicing alone on the rink, Victor suddenly turned up. What are you doing here? And why were you such a jerk to my boyfriend? Quinn, can we forget about everyone else for a moment? Will you dance with me, for old time's sake? I did miss skating with him, so I gave in. We started dancing together, and it felt so natural. We just knew each other's minds and bodies on the rink, and we fit together perfectly. The other skaters started gathering around to watch us in amazement. As the music ended, we were both out of breath, and suddenly he leaned in and kissed me. But just then, I spotted Derek watching us, and he turned to leave. Derek, no, wait! As I ran after him, Victor grabbed my hand. Let him go. Come back to me. I miss you. But what about Elena? You're engaged. But I like you more. And with you by my side, we can definitely reach the Olympics. Maybe we're just meant to be friends, Victor. We both know we're not. We belong together. I'll wait for you till you come back to your senses, Quinn. I still love you. He was making me so confused. I was getting along really well with Derek, but now he wanted me back and it was messing with my head. But the worst part was that our kiss was all over the news, with speculation that we were getting back together. Derek had stopped showing up in the cafe, so I went to the grocery store one day to see him. What's wrong? Are you avoiding me? No, I just don't think you need me anymore. You got what you wanted? If you're talking about Victor, then you're mistaken. We're not back together. I just can't decide yet. Take your time, but I'm not gonna stick around for you to make up your mind. He's the right choice. Trust me. But I like you, Derek. I really do. If that was true, you wouldn't have asked me to try to be something that I'm not. We both know that I don't belong in your world, Quinn. He got back to work, and I left. I just wanted to cry. When I got home, a maid told me there was a visitor in my room. I walked in, and suddenly, someone slammed the door shut and pinned me against it. Elena, what are you doing? Stop messing with my Victor. It's been 3 years, and you need to move on. It's not what you think. What happened at the rink was nothing. Drop the act. I know you're trying to win him back, but he's mine now. Just deal with it. But the next few days, I didn't even think much of Victor. All I cared about was Derek avoiding me, and it was driving me crazy. I could hardly focus on my training, and the competition was in 2 days. I wanted to quit, but everyone was expecting my comeback. When the big day came, I felt like peeing from nervousness. I scanned the crowd, hoping to see Derek's face, but he hadn't come. Just as I was putting my shoes on in the locker room, Victor came in. I see Derek's not here. I'm happy you sent that loser packing. I knew you couldn't be serious about him. I'll dump Elena tonight too. She's probably gonna cry a lot, which will be annoying, but... Victor, I am serious about him. But even if I wasn't, there's no future for you and me. I don't know why it took me so long to see that you're kind of a jerk. Don't be stupid, Quinn. I am your future. You need me as a partner. No, Victor, I really don't. Being alone has taught me that I can be alone. Just as I pushed him out of my way, we both saw Elena by the door. and she'd clearly heard everything. She went bonkers and attacked Victor, and I ran off grinning. He deserved it. I started my routine feeling confident, and just then, I spotted Derek in the crowd. Suddenly, I felt electrified. I did a few of my best moves, and the judges gave me a standing ovation. I ended up in second place, though, but I wasn't disappointed. I was just starting all over again, and it was a really good start. I didn't expect to see you here. I think you should have come first. You're amazing. Just having you here makes me feel like I won. I missed you, Derek, and I love you, just the way you are. Do you really mean it this time? What do you think? I think you need to kiss me to prove it. I leaned in, and just as our lips were about to touch, I said teasingly, "You're gonna have to catch me first. Bring it on."
My fiancée gave a guy a blowjob during her bachelorette party. I'm more shocked than livid. My wife had her bachelorette party in a strip club while I was asleep. Around 2 a.m., I got a call from a close friend of hers telling me to check my messages. I opened it up and I had turn on the lights and wash my face and take my meds before watching the video again. She captioned the video, "Is this the woman you want to spend the rest of your life with?" I was in denial. I know my fiancée and know she would never pull a prank on me like this. I kept watching the video over and over again and guys, it's her. Holy crap. How could she do this to me? I trusted her and this is what I got back. I'm thinking about calling off the wedding, but I don't want to be so emotional. I also don't want her to know that I've seen the video because I feel it will affect our relationship in the long run. Maybe if I just act like it never happened, it would make things better, okay? So my friend who sent the video told me if I don't break things off with my fiancée, she'll post the video. My hands are fucking tied now. I'll be holding off the wedding for now, I just need a good excuse. Yes, what my fiancée did was wrong, but I don't want her to bear that scar for the rest of her life. I'll do what I think is best.
Acting like it never happened won't make things better. You need to talk to your fiancée. This reminds me of my ex. She was fucking another dude behind my back, and the night he broke things off with her, she told me she got raped to hide it. Glad I got out of that one. The rape allegation is a big thing to say. If it is true, I am really sorry for her, but after what I found out, I can't really trust it to be true. I really hope my ex is doing well now. She was not exactly healthy towards herself, and that extended to her relationship with other people. Last time we talked, she overstepped a boundary and I didn't tell her about it in the most gracious manner, so she has me blocked everywhere, but I hope she knows that I don't hate her. Hell, I straight up miss her sometimes, but us parting ways was the healthiest path to take. OP, do yourself a favor. Don't stay with your soon-to-be wife. I stayed with my ex after the cheating for over a year, thinking it was gonna get better. It never did. It weighed a lot on me to pretend like I could trust her. Had to lie to her face, and lie to myself in the process daily. And I know what she did probably weighed a lot on her conscience, but she still did it, and I seriously suspect it was with more than one guy. So OP, let your almost wife be free, and let her do whatever she wants to do, but also set yourself free. Don't carry that weight. Don't put that shit on your back. You don't need to, you don't have to, and if you do, I guarantee you won't enjoy it. Don't make the mistake I did, and leave sooner rather than later. Maybe in the future you'll even become friends again. But don't commit your life and faithfulness to someone who isn't willing or able to do the same for you.
Info. Did she do this in public? Like in front of a fucking crowd of people or friends? If she was ballsy enough to suck some male stripper off in front of people, imagine WTF she would have done if they were alone. Imagine what she has done prior to this. Imagine what she will do after this. You absolutely need to confront her about this. I wouldn't even mention a video either. I'd say that you heard through the grapevine that she sucked some stripper off and ask her if it's true. She's going to deny it, absolutely she will, that is a guarantee. Then when she doesn't after you've given her a chance to be honest, honestly analyze how good of a liar she is in that moment, because it will probably shock you and determine what your next step should be, and then pull out the video and watch her reaction very astutely. Ask her if this is the first time she has done something like this and stay calm, even though you'll be furious on the inside. Ask her if she even knew the guy she gave a blowjob to and if she even bothered to use a dental dam or condom considering he's a fucking stripper, and if he's willing to allow her to do this how many other women have done it. Does he have an STD? Did she even bother to think about that? Did she bother to even consider that she could get an STI and pass it on to you? How the fuck would she explain that? By blaming you for being the one who cheated? Do what you need to do, but remember, getting married to someone who would hurt you like this and committing to spending the rest of your life with someone who doesn't care less about how this would hurt you is a huge mistake.
My sister's stupidity destroyed my family. My sister let her boyfriend drive my parents' car. She took it when they were out. She only had a learner's permit, so she was supposed to have a licensed adult with her. She let her boyfriend, who was a year too young to have a learner's permit, drive, and he crashed. He died. My sister was seriously injured. They think one or both of her feet were on the dashboard. She is paralyzed from the chin down. My parents' insurance isn't covering them since my sister took the car illegally, and her boyfriend's family are suing my parents. My parents tried to sue them back since he was driving, but it thrown out when they tried. We had to move to an apartment because my parents couldn't afford our house. I see them cry every day. I heard my mom say that going bankrupt doesn't get rid the lawsuit debt, and their lawyers told them to try to settle before it goes to court because they will probably lose. My sister has to be in a home forever because she needs help and care 24/7 365. She remembers everything and her brain is not affected at all. Her medical and nursing home bills are so much money. My grandparents are all trying to help, but they are all in retirement homes and don't have much. I've seen them cry too. I know she is getting punished already because she's paralyzed almost completely, but I still can't even look at her because she destroyed our entire family. Thank you for the awards and nice words.
My boyfriend just found out a horrible family secret. My boyfriend has two sisters, Jane and Sarah. He remembers that when Jane was 13 she got sick and both his mom and Jane had to move hours away so they could be close to the hospital Jane was being treated at. It was stressful because his mom had quit her job to care for Jane, was pregnant, and his dad had to work lots of overtime to pay the bills. My boyfriend has since found out that Jane is Sarah's mom. His father is Sarah's dad. His mom and Jane moving to the hospital was a made-up excuse to hide that Jane was pregnant, and my boyfriend's mom was not pregnant. His dad had to work overtime to raise money to pay the doctor who delivered Sarah to stay quiet. Jane reported him after Sarah became an adult, but since the statute of limits has passed for criminal and lawsuits, the authorities and police couldn't do anything. The doctor is long dead. His grandparents probably knew too, although they are dead, so he can't ask them. Sarah is both my boyfriend's sister and niece, not cousin or second cousin. After Sarah was born, my boyfriend went away to uni and never lived at home again. He had no idea about any of this until Jane reported it and everything came out. He is obviously in shock and reeling.
I realized I don't mind being a loser because I just don't have any desire to earn a high salary, big home, nice cars, or any of that. I enjoy working 25 hours a week and living in a small apartment, exercising daily, and enjoying my other hobbies. Either way, the game ends the same. Death. Edit, wow, haven't checked Reddit all day. This really blew up. To answer some of your questions, I used to live in California, but I moved last year. I started freelancing, and since my work is entirely remote, I moved to a state with lower COL. No, I'm not married and have no plans to marry anytime soon. I was in a serious relationship for many years and it ended during the pandemic, so I'm enjoying single life to the fullest right now. My hobbies include painting, creating sculptures, boxing, riding my motorcycle, writing, producing music, and photography. It's important to note that I had quite a bit saved up before I moved. Not a huge substantial amount, but decent enough to get me cozied in when I got here. Thanks for all the comments. Edit too, I'm 25.
My husband hit me for interrupting his video game. My husband is usually gone working, at the gym, or out with his friends. When he comes home, he goes straight to playing video games. I understand he wants to relax. I bring him dinner, drinks, whatever he asks me for. In the morning I bring him coffee and breakfast. I take care of his laundry and everything. He provides a good lifestyle for me and our child, and I like doing nice things for him. But I feel neglected by him. I feel like there's a hole inside of me. All I want is a little emotional connection and affection. We rarely spend any time together. He doesn't talk to me about anything. He's not mean, but he is distant and cold. He is very indifferent toward our son and barely looks at him. He doesn't kiss me or comfort me unless he wants to have sex. Is this normal? I let him even when I don't feel like it because I savor what closeness I can get from him. It sounds so pathetic, but I almost cry of happiness and I wish it would last forever. When he's finished, he's back to disregarding me. He buys me gifts which tells me he is thinking of me, and I do appreciate them. But if I hug him, he just puts a stiff arm around me or gives me a quick peck on the cheek. I've wanted to tell him how I feel for a while, but I couldn't find the right words and time. I didn't want him to think I didn't love him. He was playing a game last night. I brought him a drink he didn't ask for as an excuse to see him. He said that I looked sad and asked what was wrong. It felt good that he noticed for once, so my feelings slipped out. He said, "I'm focusing right now, I'll talk to you later." I rolled my eyes and muttered, "Sure you will." He put his controller down, came over to me and hit me with the back of his hand. It was so forceful I stumbled and he steadied me. He said, "There's your attention, don't interrupt me again." This morning he told me that he shouldn't have hit me so hard. Before he left he told me, "I'll take you somewhere nice soon, I want to see you smile." He said he loves me. He usually doesn't say more than, "I'll see you later." I feel surreal. My face still aches. I had to get this bruise for him to show me the little softness I want so badly.
No one from my family showed up because I married my sister's crush. My sister and my husband went to college together. She had a crush on him since day one. He was all she talked about. They became part of a very close group of friends, and that same year she invited him and her friends to spend Boxing Day with my family. That's where I met him. We had sex that same night and I felt horrible. My sister eventually moved on. She met her husband and she got married last summer. Under all these years my husband and I met sporadically, and one of the times he told me he loved me, but what could we have done? We tried to date others and I tried to forget him, but I couldn't imagine myself with anyone else, and that made my relationships short and loveless. We met again officially on my sister's wedding. She had invited all her college friends. My husband and I met and he asked me to stop running away, and we started dating secretly. A year later he proposed. Now I had to tell my family. I have never endured so much hate and isolation in my whole life. I lied to them. I told them that we met at my sister's wedding and we hit it off. I never told them how I'd been in love with him for almost a decade and that we have met at least once a year since that Christmas, and they've been the best days of my life. My sister is happily married and she just had her baby. Still, she told me she hated me and never wanted anything to do with me. My family shared the same sentiment. That I'm a horrible person. My husband told me he didn't care about a wedding if my family not showing up would hurt me. We have wasted many years and that we didn't choose to fall for each other. He wanted me to be his wife. I still sent invitations to my family, but nobody showed up. Only my friends and my husband's family. I wish they could forgive me for finally choosing my happiness.
Is my girl cheating or am I being toxic? My GF went out yesterday with a rich guy in his supercar. He offered her to let her drive the car because that's my girlfriend's dream car. She obviously wanted to, so she said yes. When she told me, I was excited for her, but I felt concerned because I do not know this guy. So I told her to have fun but to be careful. I was worried the whole night because she would text me back once every hour. At 9:30 she said they were going to eat something, and then almost an hour later she said the place was closed, so they were going to a different place. She ended up getting home almost at 12. I hate feeling like she's keeping something from me, but I can't confront her because I don't want to be toxic. Edit, I wasn't gonna post an update, but many of you requested it, so here it goes. I asked her how her night went and things didn't go as well as I thought they would. She started to tell me about how much she admires him, about how cool his car is. She even said that they got lost in the highway because they took the wrong exit, and left the details halfway. She was with him from 7:40 to almost 12 o'clock. And only told me what happened from 7:40 to 8:30. That's when I told her how uncomfortable that made me feel. I told her that even if she didn't intend for it to be a date, she basically agreed to it anyway. At first she got defensive, talking about trust and shit. She even said that she lost track of time and that she wasn't paying attention to her phone as much because he was telling her stories about how he got so rich. It got me so mad that I ended up raising my voice at her, telling her how the whole thing was disrespectful to me. At the end she started crying and apologized for not texting me more often and or calling me at any point. She also acknowledged that staying with him for that long wasn't right. But then she went on Twitter, posted a tweet that went like, "I can't believe I'm feeling bad for achieving one of my dreams." When I saw it I told her, your dream is to have that car, not just to drive it once in your life. That's all so far. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm about to drive to see her. Thank you everyone that actually had good intentions with your advice. I might have to hit the gym after this. Ice.
I hate that my boyfriend's a gamer. My boyfriend and I have been together for about 6 months now, but we were FWB for about a year and a half before that. We've also been living together for about 5 months now, and this is my first time ever living with a partner. I am currently 32 weeks pregnant with our son. He's put off quite a lot, because he would rather be gaming. I've done all the baby stuff, went to all the doctor's appointments myself. I do most of the cooking and cleaning. It makes me feel like we're just roommates. He gets up maybe an hour before work, goes to work, comes home, and will game until he has like 4-5 hours of sleep left before he has to wake up. That's all he does: game, sleep, work, smoke weed, maybe sex, eat. I understand how fun and how much of an escape video games can be. I love to game myself. I just haven't had time for it, because I've been trying to get things ready for the baby and took up more shifts at work to save up. It makes me resentful and jealous that he can do his fun things, but I can't. Someone has to do the work, and it's all fallen on me. Recently, I've getting after my boyfriend about him helping me with the nursery. There's still so much left to do, and he promised me weeks ago that this is something we would work on together. I'm the only one that's done anything for it so far, and honestly, I'm the only one that's done anything baby-related throughout my pregnancy. When he asked me to move in, he made a lot of promises that he hasn't kept up with. I've told him how I feel about it before, and we recently had a big fight. I asked him a question, and he told me to fuck off, because he was playing his game, and he ignored me every time I tried to talk to him. So I took my phone out, and shut off the internet using the app. He absolutely lost it, like it scared me, and I asked him to leave. He called me all kinds of names and said I was ungrateful, and that he should break up with me over something like that. I really didn't think he would blow up like that. I was just frustrated and tried to get his attention. He left that night and stayed at his brother's place. He said he won't go home yet, and I apologized. I feel like I crossed a line I didn't know would just make everything fall apart. I feel like he really does hate me now. I don't know how else to apologize. I just wish things were different. Edit. I'd like to add that when I found out that I was pregnant and told him, he had to convince me to go through with the pregnancy and made many false promises to be better and to be a good parent. Slight update. I don't want to post a full update, but he's decided to come back home today, so hopefully we can talk and maybe work things through, but I doubt it'll be any more productive than our previous conversations. I am going to give him an ultimatum, though as much as I hate to, but something has to change. So he came home yesterday, and I told him wanted to sit down and talk things through. I told him that the way that he acted wasn't acceptable, and that I won't be tolerating anything like that again. I also said that I would need to see him help me out around the house more. He apologized for how he acted, he even brought me flowers. We both had off from work, so he took me out to eat. I've been craving Mexican, so he took me to my favorite Mexican restaurant. Everything seemed like it was resolved. When we got home from work, I took a shower and he said that we could work on the nursery together once I was done. By time I got out and dried my hair, he was playing on the computer again. I tried not to get frustrated and waited until he was done with the game to try to get his attention. He just gestured at me to leave him alone and said in a few minutes he would log off. I went and did some laundry while I was waiting for about a half hour and came back. This time, when I tried to get his attention, he was much more annoyed and said that he would get to it tomorrow, but he would come to bed with me tonight. So I just gave up and went to bed early since I was tired anyways. I woke up hours later, around when he goes to bed. I could still hear him yelling on his game. I got up and asked him to come to bed. I guess his friends that he was playing with heard me, and he just started mocking me and making jokes. I could tell that he was pretty drunk. I reminded him about our talk, and how I can't put up with this forever. He jokingly asked if I would turn off the internet again, and I said that I would if that's what it takes for him to actually do something. You could see the switch flip in him, and he picked up a spare keyboard he just had on his desk and chucked it at me. Started yelling at me and absolutely lost it like he did the other day. Well, I packed my things and just left to go to my parents. At first he made fun of me, called me name, then he started crying and apologizing. I didn't say a thing, grabbed what I could, and took my car to my parents. I called them on the way, so they welcomed me in, and I went straight to my old room. I didn't sleep at all last night, and I called out of work for today. I'm just done. I don't know why I expected anything to change.